Hey guys, this is Just Let It Happen podcast, episode 6. The fifth one was so good that we're continuing the same day and doing 6. Sorry to wreck the illusion, but that's how it goes. My hosts tonight are EmporerGrinnar and PokeYourEyesOutGames' Ed and Lola. What's up, guys?
My cat is crawling out the window next to us. Get your butt over here, Moist Von Lifted the Third. What do you think you're doing?
He did a pull-up, a full pull-up.
This is the perfect opening for episode 6.
So anyway,
Sorry.
No, it literally is the perfect introduction. And EmporerGrinnar, that voice you heard, that's him.
Yes, I am EmporerGrinnar.
Okay, Emperor's out of the way. Let's move back on to Neverwinter Nights, which is what we were talking about.
out of the way.
Oh no!
I prefer him in the way, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, shit.
So
Like a Snorlax.
just like the last episode, we were just letting it happen, I guess, and just running different topics. But right now, we're currently on the moddable RPG genre. So let's move on to that, or let's keep going with that. So Neverwinter Nights, you guys were playing that on your stream?
Yeah. My a long-time childhood game. I grew up playing pretty much that game, Mech Warrior, and then World of Warcraft. And
Mech Warrior 2!
Oh jeez,
Mercenaries. Yeah.
I loved that game.
Yeah, that game was
but-
awesome. The level I remember, one second. The level I remember was when you had to only shoot the 13th floor, and that was the only one that was lit up. If you shot anything else, you lost. Go ahead. What were you saying?
But yeah, going into being able to customize those games, and even like down to the armor that you could find, and even for that time, the graphics in those kinds of games were so fantastic on just the customization that you could do. I don't know. It's fantastic. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, well,
You said
it's
fantastic so many times.
No, it is fantastic. The fact that
is,
you can
yeah.
go in and use the editor so easily. I mean, it was one of the. It wasn't the first game to do this, but it had one of the most like intriguing editors where you can basically just do anything, and the DM could hop into different bodies. You know, he can take over NPCs for RP effect. I mean, there's actually, even after the game kind of died and the online portion went away when GameSpy folded, the community loved the game so much that they just redid the code, released it, and now you can still play online and still do the persistent universes that are out there today. They're like mini MMOs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which actually, something that Good Old Games is doing now is you can take your PC
CD keys.
CD keys
Yep, from
and
your old
get a
games.
free digital copy of any of the games. So like
Yep.
Neverwinter Nights, get that free
If you
copy.
got one,
Had I known this, I
digital.
wouldn't have rebought all those games too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, this
You know,
I already
whatever.
did. But who actually keeps those CD keys for longer than 5 years?
not.
I have a box
Not me at all.
full of
No.
stuff.
Well, okay, let me say this. Who keeps them by their desk? Doesn't make any
No,
Not
sense.
me.
No, yeah.
Okay.
my dad.
There you go.
You have a
What is-
dad?
Hold on. Let me see.
I've been trying to get him into the stream. He just
But
always-
actually, my dad comes on. He's PokeYourEyesOutGames, and he plays Terraria with us.
I'd say about 5 feet away.
Nice.
Is the CDs.
My
And
CD
they
keys
just
are downstairs.
moved.
Yeah, wow.
They just moved. And
That's
this is-
priorities right there.
Yeah, that's priority.
I had this stream set up and ready to stream within a half an hour of getting to the new apartment with it.
I wasn't expecting you to be able to come on as a guest until next week. That's what I was told.
That's what we were expecting.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I like to be safe with my estimations. We're still moving. We still got a few things to pick up. I still have boxes sitting around. I got a box of books over here. Still got to unpack.
Is one of the books Ready Player One?
No, that's on the bed.
Yeah, that's over
And
there.
you haven't read it.
I opened it up.
Does it help if I told you that I read it?
Did you?
Okay.
No.
But anyway, back to Neverwinter Nights and customizable games.
Yeah, actually, we were just talking about Amnesia, and Amnesia is ridiculously easy to mod and add things into it. In fact, it was stupid easy to add all the monsters behind all the walls and stuff, so that when Lola would go near a wall for no reason, she'd get struck by a monster, and her fear would go insane. And I really ramped up the game that way. I think I did a good job of making it a really rough time for her.
Thought you were trying to ease her into gaming, not scare her away from it.
Yes.
That's why we started Terror Tuesday with Outlast.
Speaking of, like, games being modded, while it isn't necessarily easy to get into the editing of it, what is it? About Ground Zeroes has, like, the way they programmed it, once you can finally, like, look at all the coding, you can easily mod everything. A buddy of mine changed the face of Snake so that it looked like Hideo Kojima was Snake. So you were playing the game as Hideo Kojima.
Metal Gear 5. Or Solid 5.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Which I imagine that they will use the same coding techniques for Phantom Pain.
I can't buy any more Metal Gear games. The way Konami is treating Kojima, not cool. Does anyone know about this?
Well, he's still part of Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
But he won't be after that.
Yeah, but I have a lot of qualms with that, especially with getting rid of David Hayter and basically a 2-line email.
That was
we don't need
Hidio's
you.
fault.
Yeah, we don't need you. Sorry. And then, although I will admit, it's nice to have 24 the game, but
because it's only 5 hours long.
well, yeah, it's a demo. You're paying $50 or whatever, or $40 for. But no, it has Keith Sutherland in it, and it sounds like he's just monologuing 24.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
He does a good job, though. But
yeah.
It still irks me that it's not David Hayter.
Yeah, it's not a real Metal Gear game in my opinion. But they are stripping out Kojima in all promotional materials. They're stripping out his production logos and stuff, which is really, really shady. I mean, we mentioned this in a previous episode. It makes me feel sorry for the guy, and it brings me back to when that tsunami hit. A lot of people their one question was, "Where's Kojima? Where's Kojima?" There was this big manhunt to find out where Kojima was, and then he tweeted, "I'm okay." and so a lot of memes came out of that picture. Just they're showing like this massive devastation with a little bubble saying, "I'm okay." Anyway, sorry for going into the dark place. I was going to say last episode you guys mentioned the roguelikes. I went to Steam and guess what? The one thing that's up is a roguelike.
Yep.
Die Hard Dungeon. Actually, the reason I was looking into that is because I wrote in the community discussion that it was giving me motion sickness, and the developer actually came on and asked me what they can do to fix it. And I said, well, you could add a thing that doesn't follow the character after he moves, and maybe a 1-to-1, and just make it an option. And he said he would do it.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I really love it when developers actually take criticism and
Direction
direction from the people actually playing the games.
Yeah. I've had a lot of problems with motion sickness. Actually, there's a lot of games that I've made that have been really, really horrible for me. Like Half-Life 2 makes me want to die. I did complete it though. I played in 15-minute to half-hour increments to finally beat it.
Don't play it with the Oculus Rift then.
Ugh.
Yeah, not going to do it. I do have motion sickness, and it does show up, and it's really awful. Half-Life 3 confirmed my butt.
Hey, it's on this podcast. It's confirmed.
Oh,
really?
Oh, Ed. Speaking of motion sickness, how is Mirror's Edge?
Mirror's Edge, I barely can look at the game.
Because of the heights, or because
of the heights?
Yeah.
I like that game.
Although,
it was fun for like a half hour.
I love the game too. I've actually beat it on the Xbox 360, but for some reason I just can't get my Super Beast computer to play Mirror's Edge.
It's just like the way that I want to play a lot of the games from... I brought over a lot of games from the old systems, like Xbox 360 and stuff. I bought Burnout, Paradise. None of it wants to work. All of EA's stuff sucks, by the way. Let's just say that.
Oh, EA? That's because you didn't install Origin.
I did.
Yep.
Dark Spore.
Oh, maybe it's because you installed Origin.
Dark Spore.
Oh, yeah.
Really horrible action game, but it was fun to play with others. The game's like, Air 34 or something like that. And it won't let me play online ever again. And they said, oh, well, you can choose from these games, and it's all these shit games.
Is it strange that when you said classics, my mind went to Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega?
Well,
no,
recent
because
classics.
we're of that age.
Yeah, Yeah, when I say I actually feel ashamed of myself for calling Borderlands Burnout Paradise a classic, but some of my older games that were on the Xbox 360. But yeah, I'm one of those guys that put Linux on his Dreamcast and then maimed it and did NES and ran all those games that I owned, of course.
I actually stream from the actual consoles, those types of games, those classic games. I'm glad to say that I beat Zelda Link to the Past in under 160 deaths.
Zelda? 1, 2, what?
Link to the Past.
It's
Link
the
to the
one
Past.
for
Okay.
SNES.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. I am a big Zelda 1 fan. Zelda 2 side-scroller? Couldn't really get into it. Link to the Past, I got to Dark World, and then I walked away.
I played and beat the very original on the NES when I was like 3 or 4.
Did you beat the
when I
master
try
level?
to do it now, I get lost. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
If you put in Zelda, it puts a sword in your hand, and everything's different. I could not beat it when that happened.
Everything is actually on hard mode, and they move all the dungeons around. Like, yeah,
It messes with your head. It so does.
that actually the reason why I probably beat it was because I started playing it under the Zelda name, and then I had to go back and play Link, and then everything was easy mode after that.
So, speaking of games that mess with your head, have you guys ever played Eternal Darkness for the GameCube?
No,
Don't have a GameCube. No.
yeah, I never had a game.
Let me tell you about this game. This is a game that I'd love to see a similar thing cropping up in games nowadays. It was a horror game that had a sanity bar. But the sanity bar literally affected your gameplay. As you were playing and your sanity started decreasing, bugs would crawl across the screen. You would walk into a room full of loot, be able to loot it all, and then find yourself re-walking into that room, and there's nothing in there. One of the worst times the game trolled me in this manner, I walked into a room, and an error message popped up on my GameCube saying that the GameCube was overheated and was going to break. We had to reset the GameCube because they had that button right next to the power button. Reset, right? So I pushed down the reset button when it put me walking back into that very same room. The game was screwing with me. I had to, with my finger pressed down in the reset button, because if you let go it resets, I had to find myself a save spot. Took me an hour. It was horrible. But I'd love to do that all over again.
Wasn't the Dark Descent supposed to have some sort of mechanic kind of like that, but not nearly as bad?
Yeah.
It was so vague compared to the Eternal Darkness.
It was really toned down though.
Another game that did something similar to that, I was talking to the coders. Again, I hate to be this guy who keeps talking about Pineview Drive, but in Pineview Drive,
that got me.
they actually had a moment where in the exact spot where your sound is on a Windows computer, you know how like you can click the sound and a little sound bar will come up and you can lower it and raise it? The game actually brought one of those, and you know how like sometimes you're in a game and the sound bar comes up and it sort of glimpses back and forth between the game and the sound bar? You know that?
Yeah.
The game did that as the soundbar was back there, a magical fake soundbar that raised the volume all the way and then put it back down to halfway and like did a couple of other random things. And Lola here was freaking out at that moment, absolutely terrified.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't change the volume. Why does the volume keep changing?
I like games that mess with you like that. Like put something at the end where you're like, oh, the game's over. It's not over. You know.
Speaking of games that mess with you, and the fact that we were mentioning Metal Gear, what about the controller that you had to plug in?
Yeah, you had to take it out and plug it in the second thing, and they read your memory card. Oh, so if you play on the GameCube with
play Castlevania,
the Twin Snakes. Oh, you're a big Zelda fan, aren't you? And I'm like, dude, it's not my save file. Shut up.
Oh, you like Castlevania? Wait, what? But
I'm
actually,
going to be a boss.
I'm going to be.
I love that.
boss. There's actually I like meta stuff like that, meta jokes and stuff. But do you remember the old Sega Genesis game X-Men, the side scroller?
Yes, where you have to hit reset.
You have to actually hit hard reset. I didn't know that until I looked it up on the internet. Thank God it was around.
My
back
friend
then.
told me about that.
Oh,
that
man.
I borrowed the game from him. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I can't beat Mojo.
You have to
and he's like,
reset.
oh, you have to hit reset. And I'm like, you're freaking kidding me.
What's the thing that they go in? Cerebro? Not Cerebro.
No, it's
The danger room. You have
oh,
to reset the danger room. And so you
Is this
actually have to hit hard reset on your Genesis.
yeah,
Because the whole game is you being trapped in the danger room.
like the whole beginning of the game is.
Most of it, up until the last level.
Yeah, and then I don't remember what happens after that.
You fight Magneto and you win. GG.
Oh, welcome to die.
Welcome to every single X-Men thing ever. Which is
Yeah,
why Fox
really.
is
Sure, an X-Men
canceling
thing.
it. Which is why Disney's canceling X-Men.
No.
Shout out to the last show.
Fox is bilking their license as much as they can, and Disney's like, yeah, we're gonna tank it. Screw you.
Well, they own Marvel now. Oh, they don't own Marvel. They own Marvel Studios, yeah?
No, they own Marvel Comics.
Oh, they bought the entire thing.
They bought the entire licensing and everything.
So, okay, so all those... you remember when AT&T was this big thing? And then, or Pacific Bell, and then they split them all up, and then they slowly absorbed each other again? That's what
Yes.
Disney's doing. They're absorbing all of our childhood. Do you guys realize that?
Yes, I do.
It's scary!
Actually, and you might not want to put this in the YouTube and all that. Disney actually owns Girls Gone Wild.
Yep.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when Disney
Why
first
wouldn't I
started
put that on
buying other things, they're like, we have all this extra money. We could start buying other businesses. That was one of the first ones they bought.
Yeah? While the
Yeah,
guy was in
wait.
jail, did he sell it just to get out or something?
I don't know.
Some taxes.
Wait, was that part of that like underage lawsuit or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that?
Someone was 17 and they put it in the video and they got caught with it. And they didn't know, but the guy went to jail for it. Because
Yeah,
they didn't
that's-
check ID. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
whoops.
Always
But
get
yeah.
your ID checked, kids.
just
Yes,
to
for your
transition, back into games. We were talking in the other podcast about trends. Now, there's this new trend that I'm seeing pop up, which is medieval building physics kind of games, like Besiege, Medieval Engineers. There's another one that I just saw
Well,
that
it's
I
a
forgot.
sandbox style.
Your
but yeah.
feudal, this
Feudal
feudal life or
Banish,
something like
this
that.
feudal life.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more of those kinds of games popping up. What is our opinions on those?
I
What's
love
your
Besiege.
opinion, Lola?
Well, I think
You brought it up. You must have an opinion.
Yeah,
I
jeez.
think
Go
they're
on.
very fascinating. Like to be able to, like one of the games, you actually build your own castle, and then you go to other people's with the siege weapons that you've built and try to destroy their castles.
Wasn't there a
Whereas-
Sierra game that was like that?
Yeah, and I don't remember what it's called, but the siege is a little different, where you're just building contraptions of destruction. But it's all still in that same building physics, medieval kind of style, and I don't know. I feel like that is. I like where that is heading, that direction of games.
Well,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I really loved Besiege. I had a buttload of fun with that, and not only did I have a buttload of fun with it, but when I streamed it, I did get 300 or so people watching me do it. Because love that game. One of the funnest things I found about that game is that though the physics are actually kind of like wonky, the game is incredibly enjoyable, and you can make tons and tons of things that you wouldn't expect to be able to make.
Oh, Besieged?
Oh yeah,
Well, loads of fun, huh?
I think so.
Yeah,
Full
there's a lot of those.
Go
Oops,
ahead.
sorry.
No, I'm just killing time. Go.
Well, I was just going to kind of branch out with Lola's point with the whole first-person building, survival, all that stuff, where you can,
Minecraft?
build up bigger stuff.
Yeah.
Minecraft is in there, and Minecraft has a lot of things you can build. It's come a long way since that. What was it?
It made sandboxes popular, basically.
Well, the first time I ever played Minecraft was way back in 2007, and
Ditto.
it was still
Alpha,
browser
alpha,
based.
alpha,
And this lady I used to be friends with actually built a real life size-ish, what was it? Enterprise from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, there was a team that was doing all of that. Yeah, it's on YouTube where someone did a 1-to-1 replica, including the inside of the Enterprise.
She might have been part of that, but
Maybe.
when it became live, she also had this really huge texture pack. But I guess she stopped supporting it. I don't know why.
You want to hear the best country in the world? Denmark, and do you know why? They released their entire country in Minecraft.
Oh, I remember that.
That's cool.
Every single kilometer.
Didn't didn't a lot of American players come in and destroy it?
Yes, and then they said in a news article, they said that they were quoted for an opinion. They said, just like the real life, we're going to let it happen as it may. And so then started this big war between the Danes and the rest of the world. Danes were trying to save it. Everyone else was trying to destroy it. I don't know where it's at now.
They've actually reset the world, couldn't they?
They've actually outlawed the game
In some countries.
in some
Minecraft?
In Turkey, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that on the Let's Play channel, that they outlawed the game in Turkey and various other
You're a
places.
Let's Play.
Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
and I think a couple other of those Eastern countries because of the violence in the game.
What, you mean like... Wait a minute. Keep going.
Yep.
Keep going. I'm going to find this.
Yeah, the violence in the game, which actually I found hilarious that Minecraft's April Fools was they made the creepers love you. And all of the bad creatures had just hobbies and they were friendly. And that was their April Fool's joke. I thought that was a great spin on, their issue with the whole thing.
For sure. I can't find the video, but there's an amazing video where it's just like an animation where the Minecraft guy, you see all these mobs, and this guy just comes and hits everything and kills everything, and just starts destroying everything, and the creatures are like, "Wow, what a dick!"
Yeah, I've noticed quite a great deal when streaming and when doing a whole lot of stuff on the stream with various games. I find communities in those games to be definitely persuaded in one way or the other. And Minecraft is definitely persuaded in an oftentimes demanding and kind of negative way. That community does breed that sort of thing, which makes me quite sad.
Sort of like MOBAs and that kind of thing. The competitive nature breeds
Counter-Strike.
toxicity. Counter-Strike is another example. Call of Duty. If you can get past the 12-year-olds that are screaming in the mic, it makes you feel like
sadly to say, I mean, that's actually I hate to be plugging ourselves.
you're a Chuck E. Cheese.
That's what we're about with good community, good games. Is the idea that we can bring a positive community to those types of things. I mean, can you imagine if Markiplier had a message that says "Be nice to people" while playing multiple player games? People would listen to that.
He's generally a nice guy, though. But
Yeah,
sometimes
but he doesn't tell people to be nice.
Right? Yeah, I know.
I saw a very popular H1Z1 streamer, Chezix or something like that. It's a whole bunch of random letters when I first noticed him. But he continuously does this thing where he goes into the Battle Royale mode and throws his hands up and tries to get everybody to go to the end of the game not killing, and everybody just die at the same time. And it's what he calls, I mean, it's supposed to be a big joke, but it's actually a huge movement that he makes of fight the violence, be free, let's be brothers, peace brothers, and that kind of stuff. And actually, there's a huge video out on YouTube about it where he got, I think, almost 15 people to just run around with their hands up in Battle Royale on H1Z1 to not fight. It didn't last at the very end of it, of course, but I think that kind of thing with a huge streamer like that could go so many fantastic places with those volatile communities.
Yeah, I'd like to see a lot more communities in the streaming gaming world with that sort of message. Be nice, help people play games, have fun. I know it can be really easy to get frustrating when you're playing a MOBA like Smite, and you're trying very hard, and the people that you're playing with are just don't know what they're doing, and they're wrecking your game, and you're failing because of the failure in that arena, and it really sucks, and it's easy to get frustrating. But if you teach the people to play right, and everyone sort of has that opinion, every time you play, it's going to be better than the last time.
Well, I'm sorry I suck, Ed.
Oh, dude, you're awesome. What are you talking about, Broski?
I'm okay.
You're okay. I'm okay. I'm not that great.
I'm not that great. I'm usually not too terrible unless we're doing Joust.
The video game Joust?
No, Joust is a game mode in Smite.
Oh, okay.
Where they randomly give you a god. Like, everyone's given random characters. And it's usually someone that I've either never played or really, really terrible at.
Well, the whole thing with Smite is you're just there to have fun. I mean, there's a competitive aspect to it. But, I don't know. For some reason... Well, I can't even say that. I was going to say I haven't encountered a lot of toxic players in that game. I have. But if you don't play your character right. But that's more of a game where you can just have fun in 3D. It's like a 3D MOBA. It's really fun.
Smite is generally better than, say, Dota 2.
But the big reason for that is because of what Hi-Rez has been doing to try to keep the population playing not as volatile. Like, they're doing the whole reporting, they're doing the whole goodwill system that other MOBAs are now starting to institute into their own games because they want to do the best they can to make it a reward kind of thing for being a good player and less just kicking and banning for being a bad player.
Yeah.
So they're trying to, make it a positive thing of being supportive and helpful and just, a well-rounded good gamer. Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, I haven't actually seen very many games that force players to do that. One of the only games I've seen, it's not the only, but one of the only games that I've seen that does that is Left 4 Dead 2 and Left 4 Dead 1, at any rate.
Forces you to work together.
You have no choice. Even if you hate the people you're with, even if you're having a rough time, I mean, the only thing you can do is either leave, which is actually better for the people in the long run, or be forced to work together. So it doesn't matter if you're screaming and yelling and hating somebody. You have to help them. You have to stick around your team or be punished for that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then actually...
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, that brings up the other point, like we're still on MOBAs. Blizzard's Heroes of the Storm doesn't allow a surrender option.
Which doesn't?
Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, yeah, that is completely true.
There is no surrender option. You have to stick that game out until the end.
Also, there is a comeback mechanic. So, like, if you get too far behind, you start getting a little bit of an advantage. That way it keeps it close. Also, if someone AFKs and leaves, they'll replace them with a bot immediately. Very, very good idea.
Nice.
Yes.
There's a different topic I want to touch base in that actually talks about Heroes of the Storm and other, like, early access beta games. Where they offer items in the game for real-life money, and the game isn't officially out yet.
Mm-hmm.
This really pisses me off.
The thing that pisses me off is the fact that they release these items with these founder packs, and they never make them available to earn. Ever. It bothers me so much. This is one of the reasons why, I kind of like Chris Roberts' theory, where if you pay for the game and you buy all this stuff, great, you get it automatically, but if you don't, you can earn it later. But, like, these games like Path of Exile is a good example. There's a lot of, like, a lot of games or a lot of things you can get by getting founder packs, but you would never actually ever see.
But
Shroud of the Avatar.
To be on the other side of that, I feel like people who are sitting there and actually buying the founders packs should be rewarded a little bit more for their effort to contribute to a game that's not yet finished.
Well,
nah. I think a game that isn't finished and might never actually be launched shouldn't be charging people money.
Precisely. I agree with that. I just don't like that.
I mean, yes, it contributes to the game being completed, hopefully, although Blizzard kind of has a really bad track record with that.
Blizzard?
Blizzard.
Explain.
They put a number of projects into it. Although they never charged money for people who were playing early. Until now.
The whole dance studio and stuff, whatever. But that's because they do their own trade show, their own convention, and they hype up stuff, and they're saying stuff that they want to go in the game, but never actually do. But yeah.
So basically, they're the American Peter Molyneux.
Now
he screwed over that kid so hard.
In my stream and my experiences with this lovely person, Sir Carlton, who's in the chat with you guys right now, we've expressed our problems with this, and I think that he's absolutely right. I mean, the things that I like about early access are great, and I think it could be an incredible tool that would be really great progressing the way games are made, but it is so abused that supporting any early access game is bad. What?
No, I was going to say all the time. I'm agreeing with you.
All the time, yeah.
They actually touched base on that on the first podcast.
Yes.
Was the second one?
As a responsible gamer, it is up to you guys to not buy early access games.
Unless you want the game in its current state.
Yeah, but the thing is if you buy it in its current state, and some people do that, early access will continue to exist and continue to destroy the way games are made. I really feel like it's a trending upwards thing, and if it keeps going, it'll be the new thing.
It is the new thing. It's already there. It's
going to be the permanent new thing. And the only way that you can do that is to make sure that you don't buy those early access games, and that if everyone stops doing that, we as the consumer can control what happens with that.
It was a good idea when it started. It's completely abused now. We did cover this. We went down the list. Actually, I think it was episode 2 because you were on it, Grinnar. We went down the list and we actually just called out a number of failures and a number of successes. There's a lot of good that has come out of this. A lot of good. And it kind of changed my mind a little bit on it. But you have to be extremely careful and extremely picky and don't believe anything anyone says. That's why I say if you want to buy a game, take it in its current form, and that's okay. You are contributing to the problem a little bit, says Ed, and I sort of agree with that. But, like, 7 Days to Die, very good game, early access, I'm fine with it just in its current state. Minecraft, same thing. People were buying it in its current state.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not upset about things like I love 7 Days to Die, great game. I love it a lot. But the issue that I'm talking about is just that little bit adding to the problem. Everybody does that. It's like if you walk into the bank and you only take $1 out of the safe. If everyone does that, there's a huge problem. And that's what I'm talking about, is that it really does make a huge problem for the gaming community. And the only people that can stop it is the consumers.
We all have to be... Yeah, go ahead.
We all have to unitedly make the same choices.
Sorry.
No,
you go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. This is a way for indie publishers to get away from or indie developers to get away from the publishers who are taking way too much just to promote the game and just to monetize off of it. That's what's this supposed to be. I agree, all of these problems with Kickstarter, because the reason why publishers exist, the evil publisher, is to make sure these games get done. These developers go to Kickstarter and they're like, I'm just going to get money for the game, and they grossly underestimate how much this is going to cost, and then they have to fold. That's part of the problem. Another part of the problem is when you have these big companies saying, like the whole Amplitude thing, Harmonix, Activision, and all that. They said, if you can get it funded, on Kickstarter, we'll release it on the Sony PlayStation. And so they did a Kickstarter. Of course, it failed. But but that's another abuse of power. A lot of this whole problem has to do with ignorance to exactly how the system works.
I think that one of the best ways that could... clearly we can't get this done. The only thing that we as consumers can do is just not buy those early access games, even though we want them. Because, I gotta say, even Sir Carlton has admitted that he's wanted early access games. I really want to get it, but I've made this choice. I think the only way that we can combat these issues in early access games is rules and regulations on the industry.
Oh no, you're a dirty liberal. You're regulating.
I would prefer at least some of it.
Isn't that more of a conservative thing?
No, conservatives want free reign, so they would. So they say. So you would want, if you were one, to just let the market self-regulate entirely. So if people kept buying them, they would allow more of those to happen.
Amiibos.
Yeah. So, but I think some rules and regulations, I mean, would be a great thing.
Better guidelines at the very least.
Guidelines, yeah, strict guidelines, you know, that kind of thing. Anything to stiffen it up.
Stronger watchdog groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't necessarily have to shut it down, but at least, like, put off a warning light or something. Like, go to click and it says, these publishers have been known to take your money, and say, screw you.
Yeah, there's a site out there called Ripoff Report. I used to make a living by countering stuff like that and helping companies get past bad press. That's how I got into marketing in the first place. It's because I was taught SEO by a professor as a favor. But there are sites that let you do that. They are watchdog, and you can just basically fill Google up with all of the failures of the company. However, you don't need to do that anymore because news sites will do it for you. But that still doesn't stop consumers, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem, and but the only thing we could do is I don't know, as a consumer is tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Like
get
friends.
on YouTube. Shout out.
Yeah,
Hold on,
tell
let me
your
Spread
friends.
the word.
Tell people not to buy early access games if you love the future of games. You know,
Although
that's the thing.
To defend Denifen's standpoint, he gave money to Star Citizen, which
Along
he
with
doesn't.
a million other people.
Yeah, but he doesn't have money somehow.
He's being a little bit untruthful there, but you know, it is what it is. I actually caused part of that, but anyway.
But like, he would gladly give more money.
Yeah, I mean,
He loves the whole thing, and if they're actually able to accomplish what they aim to do, it will be like among the best ever space games.
you know, I'm not going to lie. I completely agree with that. And that's the trouble. That's the war inside myself
Right.
when I consider early access games. Because there are games that I love that I threw money at it.
Right.
Early access games that I love that I threw money at it. But, you know, Sir Carlton is talking to me about it. And every time he talks about it, I agree with it. And I have this war inside myself where I'm thinking to myself that I'm glad that certain companies have the option. But I would prefer none companies to have that option because I feel like it's ruining the way games are made. I don't need it happening. It is. Early access is bad. I'm telling you. I know it's on the stream now, and it's bad. It's bad news bears.
I'm not mocking you, but you
for
said
the
we need
most
to
part-
shout it out to everybody, so I did.
Yeah.
And it is an important thing to think about because as a consumer, I know most people forget that they're the ones with the power. 8-Bit Atheist,
Yes.
I'd like to shout out to you. Thank you. Welcome for coming into the talk show. But I feel that consumers definitely have the power. And just like Sir Carlton said, the money is what talks. Not buying things will change what happens.
It just,
Go ahead, Lola.
I don't know. I totally understand all of what you guys are saying, but then there's the gem like Darkest Dungeon, or then there's the gem
I
like
want that game
Action
so
Hank.
much.
So
I
good.
loved Action Hank.
Yeah.
I would play it every day if I could.
But here's
and that
the thing.
was an early access game, and
Early
we got
access.
that game before it was early access.
No, I'm
Slash
telling the
Kickstarter.
chat. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, and that.
But
the,
Lola,
Yeah.
the developers of Action Hank, which is, was it Rage Squid?
Yep.
Yes.
Hank.
They're very active in the community.
Yep.
But
A
that
lot of
doesn't
these
change.
rip-offs aren't.
But that doesn't change the whole point of you don't buy any games from these early access. That means you're not even supporting the people who are truthful about it and the people that
That's-
really
that's-
actually benefit from it.
That's the trouble. I mean, that's the war that we all have about it. The trouble is you will never be able to properly sort out who's going to screw you and who's not. You
Right.
just can't do it. It's not going to happen. And the only way to combat that is not to do it. And if developers and a whole bunch of people are still really looking for those early access games to make it a thing, they're going to reach out to the community and go, guys, you all loved early access 3 months ago. Why did you all stop? And we can go, this is why. Fix it, or we won't do anything. We're not going to buy early access until these problems are addressed in some way.
Oh, this link that Censored just posted in chat actually shows success rates and fail rates. And it looks like in the beginning it was such a great program, and now it's starting to be not so much.
It was completely a good program. I mean, it was
Absolutely.
It was innovative. It was genuine. People really got behind it, and then the evil came.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Allow me to be a little bit of a pessimist.
Do it,
please.
Do it.
Okay, so Call of Duty map packs.
We're going back to DLC.
All they're doing is bilking their customers for money, and the customers keep buying it because all this hype that you've got to do it in order to stay competitive and everything. But it's like, what, $20 for 3 maps and maybe a new weapon? Maybe?
I feel like back when South Park was just coming to DVD, and I would buy 4 episodes for $30 because that was just the way it was.
Yeah, that's the way it was back then. And,
so
and
it's very
now
similar.
We find ourselves in kind of the same sort of situation. That's just the way it is. And I like Ed's point is that it shouldn't be. We can change it because we are the consumers. We hold the money. This is the free market.
Exactly. I mean, we have the power. I mean, and this is really, quite honestly, the truth about the entire world.
Entire world.
The entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't spend your money on things, people will change how it is made.
Yes, quite.
Quite indeed. What ho, Sally Forth, all that jazz. Yes, yes, yes. Sally Forth.
What about
Sally who?
developers screwing over publishers?
That is not something we can do anything about.
Actually, it is.
Well,
because you can
expound.
Stop supporting those developers by buying their games, but you won't because, and I don't mean this as an attack, you personally won't because one of the companies you really, really love, but they had this one black mark on their record. And I feel like I'm attacking you. I don't mean to put...
No, you're not. Trust me, I'm cool.
Get him.
Explain, expound, all the way.
Colonial Space Marines. Or is it just Colonial Marines?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, that was...
You know what I'm getting at.
Oh.
Gearbox was hired...
Yeah, go ahead.
Gearbox was hired by Sega to make this game. And they started to. It started off very genuine. But then they stopped development. They took the money and put it towards Borderlands 2, which they didn't need to do because Borderlands 1 did so well, and 2K Games gave them a ton of cash anyways. And then Sega got screwed over because the deadline happened and there was nothing there, so they had to hire another company to rush it, and we got this mush of stinkiness.
Yeah, and the whole thing is that they doctored up the demos to make them look good,
Yeah.
It was a big rip-off, and one of the main reasons I knew that was going to take a while to show up, but so we're messing around in stream for you audio listeners. We're putting things across the chat, or I am because I have control of it. But little quotes here and there.
Hack into Otaku's computer.
Hack. But one of the things. Shit. Move on.
You okay?
What was I saying?
One of the things.
Before that?
Colonial Marines.
Yeah. I forget where I was going with that, but it's
Sega couldn't even sue them over it, even though it was
fraud. Oh, got it. Go ahead. Yeah, it was fraud. The way that they handled it was definitely fraud. But we released the game where I work, Alien Isolation, and I actually in the background, I was like, I was in some of the leaderboard meetings and stuff on the front page, and I'm like, you should probably put that one on the bottom because it's made by the same guys that did the last one. And it was horrible. and then it ended up just knocking it out of the park.
Wait. Gearbox developed...
No, it was a Sega thing.
Oh, Sega, yeah. Because Sega owns the licensing for it.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, they're just going to screw it up like they did the last one, and they completely surprised me.
Well, they're just the publisher.
Yeah.
Developed it, but...
So, I know I'm a little delayed on this one, but you're telling me that Gearbox has this huge black mark on it, and personally, when I have bought all of the Gearbox games that I have, I didn't really know about that black mark, and that's just me, I suppose, being ill-informed about that kind of thing.
I've tried to tell you about it.
I think I remember you telling me about it,
but I may not have gotten my point across. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. But the problem there is that there's going to be ill-informed people all across the gaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do not buy that game. Colonial Marines is a waste of human energy, and you will get eye cancer looking at it. Go on.
But I still stand by my standpoint. I definitely believe that us as a consumer can change the way that games are made. We can definitely do that. Well, and Grin is absolutely right. There's going to be hard choices to make, and sometimes you don't want to make them. But I will, after this conversation, absolutely take a closer look at what Gearbox is doing before I decide to even possibly buy another one of their games.
Borderlands is amazing. You can't. Well, you can't.
Yeah.
Everyone has their shitty moments, right?
And
but
Gearbox.
This is unexcusable. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Gearbox has such a huge revenue of games already. Where do you go to find all of these things on the internet about who's doing what with publishers and developers?
Yeah, there's no
gaming news sites and stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
but I'm subscribed to a lot of them, and this is not something that I see very often.
They didn't really talk about it much in the...
Don't like to. Of course not.
I mean, it hit news, but they kind of kept it under wraps, and then it went past. And then, we had this other stuff, shiny thing, right?
Speaking of under wraps, I'm thinking about being a mummy for Halloween this year. What about you guys?
Well, if I can get into character, I'll do Beetlejuice.
Nice.
Because... when I work on it, I can do the voice really nicely.
Sorry to interrupt that.
No. That's this show. We don't stay on topic for very long.
I love Halloween.
The attention span of this show is just like mine.
I feel that we have been able to stay on topic quite a...
I know, it's amazing. We've been on topic for like 30 minutes.
I think that has a lot to do with me, to be honest.
Sometimes you need a segue in order to move on so you don't lose viewers by saying, shut up about Gearbox!
We talked about early access too long. We talked about Gearbox too long.
I like the social commentary that Gearbox does. I just don't like their intercompany politics.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Despite being kicked off... Okay, I'm looking for my Meanwhile in Florida article. But, sorry, real quick. The way I learned... Actually, you were mentioning news sites and the way you learned about the Colonial Marines. The way I learned of it was Angry Joe's show doing the Colonial Marines Angry Review. That's how I learned about it.
He's really good about giving you background data.
And he will be honest about it.
There's some important info about him, by the way.
What happened?
He just publicly came out on YouTube
trashing
trashing Mario Party 10 and Nintendo, and said that he will no longer ever stream a Nintendo game to YouTube because of Nintendo's new policy on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. I want to give him a hug.
Which to bring everybody up to speed, at first they implemented this policy where they are taking a percentage of the commission made from YouTube players of their games.
60%.
Now some of those games you make zero revenue off of if you are the streamer.
I thought they were just telling him to stop streaming stop posting YouTube videos of it.
No, it was he played Mario Party 10 and he was not paid for it because Nintendo listed Mario Party 10 as one of those games that you cannot get revenue off of.
You want to hear something that's messed up? Music in video games, unless they're extremely popular songs like in Grand Theft Auto, should be covered by the gaming company and allowing for Let's Plays. I agree with that completely, and you guys may or may not agree with it, but I put up a Let's Play of Hotline Miami. and one of the producers of the music content matches. Fuck that. That pissed me off so much that I actually put it up anyway, and I said, do not click on anything like this, and then I just put annotations over the entire thing, and music in the background, that's fine. But I was so mad. Like it wasn't about the money. I don't make shit on YouTube. But the simple fact is that a music producer that put music in a game content match me, go fuck yourself. Sorry, Lola, continue.
No, I mean that even continues in with the entire thing of you're putting so many different publishing marks on these things that there's this big issue with somebody who branded the word Hun in Boston.
Yeah.
And that is now becoming a thing over the internet where you play a song that's similar to this other song and you're going to get sued for it. Or you're not allowed to have that up. And I feel like that's starting to get kind of too far into these games. And Nintendo, I feel, kind of crossed the line on it. But yes, they should be able to get revenue off of people streaming their games. I think that that's okay. It's teetering a line, but the fact that somebody who has over 22 million followers, or was it 2 million followers? I don't know, has a huge following, now makes zero money playing this one game and wasn't told about it until
he only has 1 million?
He figured it out.
He's at 2 million. That's
2 million.
it?
Lola?
Jesus.
What?
You want to know how game companies make money off of people streaming their games?
What?
I think it's boobs.
The
Buy
audience buys them.
Yes.
Well, yes, but
Sorry.
I think that the publishing right of you streaming that game, I definitely understand.
I understand them
why that
sharing
is
the
there.
revenue, but completely bilking it.
No,
Right,
no.
which is why
They're sharing
that's
it now.
across-
They're
Right.
sharing it now. But here's the little clause here. You can get more money if you make your channel completely about Nintendo and only talk good about it.
Right. But,
Think about that.
I don't feel like they should take any revenue anybody else is going to make based off of the fact that you just created the game.
They
I
don't
feel
own
like
your
that's
commentary
crossing
on
the
it. though.
line.
They don't own your commentary. They own, like, if someone was doing a full play, I get it. But if someone's talking over the game, that's entertainment. You know what I do at work? I throw on Let's Plays in the background and I listen to them. That's what I do.
That's part of the only reason why I even watch Let's Plays is for the commentary.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on commentary.
Yeah, a streamer's
All time.
actually
Over at Poke Your Eyes Out Games.
Poke your games out, eyes.
To be honest, real quick, I'm surprised that you haven't mistyped our names as Poke Your Eyes Out Gaming.
Yeah,
Everyone does that. I don't know what it is.
I've never done that,
Good job, Ben.
and
You're
I'm
one of
dyslexic.
Dude, I have a name that people misspell all the time, so you know. not my anyway. It's an actual name, but yes. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's the kind of thing that I feel like is completely wrong. Is branding something and then not allowing anybody else to use it, and if they do, even by mistake, you get sued for it, or you get repercussions for it.
there's no such thing as a lawsuit anymore. You get a legal letter and then a DCMA takedown. But yeah, it's the same thing.
Which
Yeah.
another Kickstart streamer or Kickstart developer had that issue with, and that's why he canceled the entire thing, was because he created a game, I think it's Forsaken Fortress, and
Oh yes.
he had to stop making that game because it was too similar of a name to a major game developer who was making another game. But it had nothing to do with each other, and the names weren't really that similar, but it was similar enough to where he had to stop making his own game because he couldn't think of another word.
He actually
or another
continued it
title.
because it's the same thing with the Power Rangers reboot little fiasco. This fan group who was an actual director, they made a very violent and sort of like not vulgar, but it was violent and it had bad words and all that. Like short film about Power Rangers, and the guy who owns Power Rangers is like, nope, DCMA everywhere. The fan reaction was so brutal and so strong that he's like, okay, whatever. That's the same thing that happened with this guy. He basically just decided, I think he's just going to change his name. I'm not sure, but they're allowing it to go through, I think.
Oh, they are? Because I know, like, he posted this big thing on YouTube about how he just didn't have the money to be able to fight it.
I think the fans
Like-
revolted, and I think they won.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we're seeing this more these days, where the fan base being able to actually sway against big companies.
I think that is fantastic.
Yeah,
I
that is
absolutely love that.
Well, and it goes back to that developer from that game that's going to add a certain feature just because people get motion sick, just because I
Right,
mentioned
yeah.
it. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we come for full circle.
I gotta say, playing some games, I have had as a young streamer. I still see myself as a young streamer. Young, I mean, like I've only been streaming a little bit more than a year.
I'm legal.
Yay!
I have had more developers come into my stream and ask my opinion on their game and ask me something that I would change about the game. I've gotten messages from them. I've had them ask me to stream their games, or us rather, and it's really awesome to get that. Really awesome to receive that sort of asking from game developers.
Yeah, it means they actually care about the community that they're creating these games for.
I mentioned this on the first show. I think there's a mod for StarCraft in the arcade, StarCraft 2 arcade, which basically turns it into an MMO, a StarCraft MMO. The
Yeah.
storyline is one of the best storylines I've ever experienced in a video game, and I came out and said that, and the developer actually came to my YouTube channel and talked to me about it, and that was a very big moment for me.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Wait.
I really love that.
Is this the same StarCraft that is basically a toned down Warhammer 40K?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They turned it into a third-person MMO sort of, and put a really good prologue on it with Optimus Prime voicing some of this stuff.
Oh, jeez.
You gotta play it, dude. Yeah, they actually, and talk about a company that's actually cool with this. They went to Blizzard and said, we would like to kickstart this in order to get it off the ground. You know what Blizzard said? Yes.
Go for it.
Yes.
That's
You cannot make money on it, but yes, you can get money to develop it.
Here's one thing I don't like about what Blizzard almost took as an actual, like they seriously considered it. So these companies let you use names, and especially like MMOs, you use a name and you can roleplay as a character, and if you actually use those names in a real published work, companies where you use that name and similar styles of doing things with that character, they can sue you for copyright infringement.
What?
It's allowed in... actually, I think they may have changed the... I'm trying to reach into my brain. I haven't read this recently, so it's in the murky places. Like you remember my thing with DeviantArt where I don't like them because they can do a similar thing where if you post your works on there,
They own it.
but you also publish it somewhere else, they can sue you for part of the profits that you make not through their website.
They own it.
They own
If you upload it, they own it. That's terms of service.
it. They own
I don't agree with it, but that's what people agree to
Yeah.
when they sign up to it.
And this is why I replaced all of my work on DeviantArt with really bad copy pastes of my World of Warcraft conversations and pictures of puppies.
I put on my Robin Wizard hat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That's actually something I love to do, was to sneak up on people who were doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Because I played a rogue, and I found all the places where people like to hide.
So
Actually-
we have an 8-bit atheist who wants to talk about Slender Man in that game.
Which
You guys ever
one?
play
There's a
those?
bunch of them.
Shout out to Marble Hornets, by the way. Very good show on YouTube about Slenderman.
I haven't seen it.
It's good. Check it out.
Wait, maybe
There's-
maybe I have. Was that
there's-
like fake documentary thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I saw that.
And then they had like another account talking back and posting videos that sort of linked in, like showing pictures of the guy who blacked out. They're showing what he did next, or watching him go to a car. The guy's like stalking him and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
The whole like everything around Slender Man when it first got started was really cool. Like, I'm glad it won the creepypasta competition. That was a really well done. Like,
Yeah,
the weirdest part is that Slender Man actually is based off of a lot of mythology from the from hundreds of years ago.
Just
and
like
it's-
everything nowadays.
Well, yeah, but the weird thing is that like it touches very closely to those, but brings it to the modern era, and
Right.
it ties into the
And-
theme.
But as the developer, 100% will state, no matter what, it is a 100% fictional character.
Right. Yeah.
Because because
No
you do
ties to
have those,
anything existing.
right? Because you do have the problem of, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this, but the 3 girls. They have
That's actually
to-
happened a couple of times now.
Well,
Yeah, blaming Slenderman or Jeff the Killer, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, but
Yes,
like
I know.
there was the 2 girls who I think were not even in high school yet.
Nope,
who-
they were in middle school.
Yeah, who stabbed one of their friends 19 times in the name of Slenderman.
Because Slenderman told us to.
You can talk
No,
about
they
whatever you
just went
want.
to trial
They were
last
trying
month.
To,
They're being
like,
tried as adults, by the way.
They were
Yeah.
trying to bring him out of the woods or something like that, like
But
as a ritual or some stupid thing. Which,
I think it's an excuse just to stab someone.
yeah,
People
Yeah,
are crazy nowadays. I don't want to go
People
outside.
are crazy.
right,
But
and
It's
back
getting
to-
worse. It's getting worse. People aren't growing up correctly.
that's because
Back to games.
I
and
actually
growing
think
up
it
correctly.
is kind of related to games that parents are relying on media to raise their kids instead of doing it themselves. But that's also part of the problem that parents are forced to work more for the same amount-ish of money that our parents were earning, and they were still able to play with us.
Yeah.
My dad played Contra with me and my brother, and we would switch off lives.
There you go.
Yeah.
My
Did you use the
mother,
Konami code?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Are you kidding?
All right.
my mother dearest, Mama Flabberjackson, or Mama Flabberjackson, as she is in my chat. She loves video games. She loves watching them, and she would love playing them if she wasn't a sack of crap at playing them.
Hey.
My dad
Well,
hates
she
3D
did
games.
really well at The Walking Dead.
Oh, I
Yeah.
installed that on my dad's phone.
I helped her do it.
But
She needed a great deal of help to do that.
when she smashed her first zombie, that just like brought pure joy. I still have that screenshot.
It's such a great screenshot. Actually, it's one of my favorite highlights. Mama Flabberjackson pushes down a zombie and then beats the crap out of it with a hammer and then laughs myotically. And then
Yeah.
stops for a moment. There's a brief moment of silence and she goes, cool.
I love your mom.
My
Mama
dad likes to play.
Flabberjackson is awesome.
My dad likes to play Magic the Gathering. My dad likes to play games with me. He's really getting into Diablo 3 Reapers of Souls, couch co-op on the PS3. You know, he's amazing. He basically is the guy that got me into computers originally. So
Yeah.
And
Eight-
yeah.
8-bit, we do like to, at least I personally like to keep religion and politics and things like that out of public forums like this talk show. But I think you'll find that there are strong opinions on a lot of things.
Everything.
People get violent and upset about a lot of them.
Everything.
Yep.
If it it's like Rule 34, but if something exists, someone's getting mad about it.
yeah.
So how about like playing cards?
Oh, I'm sure Jack Thompson tried to sue Bike,
Wait.
their bicycle or whatever. You know, them playing card companies. You know who Jack Thompson is, don't you?
Crickets.
No, I don't.
He's the guy who kept trying to sue Maxis because of The Sims and Rockstar for GTA. Because in The Sims, he was saying that The Sims had full anatomy underneath the blurred out thing. He was crazy.
Crazylicious.
Actually, they didn't. For one, you know, you can remove the
Yeah,
censor and all
everyone
that.
has removed the blur at some point.
or added
Sim.
anatomy.
Yeah. Like,
Sims
if you
2.
remove the blur,
Nothing's
they're
there.
just Ken and Barbie dolls. There's
Well-
no genitalia whatsoever.
Let's find ourselves back in the realm of games.
Hey, that is a game. The
you think so?
Sims.
You are not okay for this podcast. Let me vent.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Anyway, I found a bunch of lawsuits involving playing cards. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to return to the realm of games, and reassert our focus here. I gotta say that let's just talk about the passion of games that we have. I mean, personally, my growth for games has increased. My love for game has increased. I mean to say, way back when I started streaming, I just had this sort of mild love of games. And I really more loved my board games and my tabletop games and my things like that. And then I started streaming, and we only had like 2 games, really. I played a lot of games on my consoles, but not too many on the PC. And my world of gaming has exploded, and I find myself actually caring what happens to the gaming world. Not just interested in it, I actually really genuinely care. Like it's my small baby, and I want to see it grow up nice and strong.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But I have a more sort of pessimistic view on the gaming industry. But I really want to see indie developers succeed. A lot of them are just guys starting out that want to break in, and I think that the current even with the woes of Kickstarter, I think the market is more in the favor of indie developers than it has been in the past. And I think a lot of people can come out and show their games and be heard than they used to be. And that's what makes me feel really excited.
Well, Sony and Microsoft have been fairly good to a lot of indie developers by letting them put their stuff on the consoles for the digital stores.
Sorry, we're reading a 8-bit atheist here. I
know you don't like about the game Five Nights at Freddy's series. The things that I don't enjoy about the game. Now, I really refuse to sit here and seriously bash any particular game to the point where I would say it's a horrible game and don't ever buy it.
It's something for everybody. Although
there's something for everybody.
We can say don't buy Colonial Marines. Move on.
I like that demo though.
The demo was so good.
The multiplayer demo.
So good.
I didn't find personally very much in the game that I enjoyed. I mean, clearly I don't get scared by games. I don't unless it's Dying Light where I'm flinging myself off of a freaking tower or some shit.
Them heights though, bro.
I have a problem with heights, which is exactly why I climb mountains.
I get elevation sickness. I can't.
I didn't find too much in the game for me personally. I found it the jump scares to not even bother me or upset me. And interestingly enough, I found a lot in my streams when people are trying to convince me that I need to play this game. Much to their woe and dismay, I will not. They tell me
stay strong, brother.
That the lore is what is so interesting about the game.
What?
And then they have told me, even more importantly, that the lore was never made by the developer and it's all fan-made.
Y'all be crazy. That's called fan fiction, guys.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with the developer. That has nothing... All that interesting lore that has been made up in the world... I'm talking with my hands here. What am I doing? All that interesting lore made up on there is fan lore. And it has nothing to do with what's actually supposed to be there or doesn't, for me, increase the value of the games.
And I agree. There's a lot of cool fan stuff that's going on. I mean, even Torchlight 2 is made better just with the Inseminator mod, and that's fan made, but it completely makes the game totally different, and it's a whole different playing experience. But yeah, it's not the actual game, and you know how I feel about Five Nights at Freddy's. The jump scares are, and it's not really for me. But the reason I was cheering you on is because I got a lot of my fans from playing Realm of the Mad God, and I got to the point, and you're talking about hardcore death. You die in that game, you're dead. But I got to the point where I'm like, I can't even bring myself to turn this game on. I have to switch. I have to change it, and I lost half my viewers, but in the end, I kept my sanity. So
I can understand it.
Yeah.
Talk about insanity. Oh.
Yeah, but save that for the next show. But go ahead and finish your thought.
Oh, I'm just saying, I beat Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh!
I beat it. Like, it took me 4 tries, maybe?
Yeah.
Did you beat
Finally
4?
You mean 3?
Yeah, 3.
No, I haven't gone back to 3 yet. I
You
still
just need to man
I'm
up
still
and go
rage
for
quit
it.
status
Dude,
on that.
You know what you
Dude.
need to do? You need to grind and get your level up.
I know, that's
I think-
exactly what I gotta do.
I think, Grin, what you need to do is watch Lola defeat Shao Kahn after, I think it was a solid 3 hours of constant death.
I was there for that.
Yes. Remind yourself of that.
I was just laughing. But her reaction, see, my reaction is different, where I just speak monotone. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna die. I'm dead. All right, let's load. Yep, I'm dying. I'm dead. See, my reaction, it's like watching you play Five Nights at Freddy's. There's no reaction, there's no fun.
Hey, I made Alien Isolation and the horror games that I did play interesting. Just not the same way that everyone expected it to be.
There's a video on YouTube of a guy called Critical. He goes by Penguin Zero. He's very, very funny. He has 1 million subscribers, and he deserves them all. He basically just something popped up, and he's like, "Excuse me, sir, you're blocking my photography." It was amazing. Anyway, guys, we have to wrap it up tonight. I appreciate you guys coming out.
Again, I want to be a mummy.
Yes, you do want to be a mummy. I want to be a pirate again. I want to buy that damn hat.
Yarr.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Anyway, wrapping up the show. I'll give final thoughts in a second, but this has been Just Let It Happen podcast. Episode 6. We've done 2 today, and we love you all for it. Shout out to everyone in the chat room. You can come out and join us, twitch.tv/CensoredOtaku, or join one of our lovely hosts. We'll kindly restream it. But if you want to ask questions, you can come into my chat. This show is sponsored by patreon.com/Let It Happen. It's also brought to you by twitch.tv/EmporerGrinnar and twitch.tv/PokeYourEyesOutGames, spelled out correctly. And if you look down on the lower right-hand corner, you're never going to be as cool as this guy. I'm just saying. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I gotta say that I love talking about games, and I could do it for a long time.
I wish I could too. I really do. I want this to go on for a while.
Is that a DuckTales poster?
Dude.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Them acid wash jeans. Those are my final thoughts.
Nintendo power.
Nintendo Power.
Is that still a thing?
No, they closed down a few years ago.
That sucks. All right.
Yeah, so we do shows Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. We're definitely going to have Grinnar on more, and obviously, and Loli, you're welcome to join us at any time. You're available. So yeah, you're now a part of the family.
Aww.
So you guys came out, and you guys, to be honest, you guys really showed a lot of compassion and made me feel extremely good when you rehosted us and got us some more views. So outside of that, you guys are a pleasure to talk to, and I'm glad I have you on.
Real quick, I'd like to make a shout out to all of my community that made it over here to watch Just Let It Happen. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. You're wonderful. You're beautiful. I love the way that you wear your shirts on your person.
I love
It
the way
looks
you
great.
wear your hair.
It's great.
I'm not going to have hair for much longer. I'm shaving it off.
And
Oh!
Yeah.
And on that
I have
note,
extremely long hair.
And then there's the hair on his head.
And then that hair's getting
what will happen
And that
to
was-
Emperor Grinnar's hair? Stay tuned next time on Just Let It Happen podcast.